I need to assess whether you are suitable to be our guide, he said. One day, a man named Michael, the director from our headquarters, came to inspect my branch office. He was a firm believer in the importance of educational background and immediately started evaluating me, the person assigned to guide him. Assess? Yes. Which university did you graduate from? Ah, I'm sorry. I only have a high school diploma. As I responded with some confusion, Michael's face turned red with anger. What? A high school graduate is the tour guide? Yes, that's right. Is there a problem with that? It's absolutely unacceptable for someone like you, a mere high school graduate, to handle this. How impolite. Excuse me? I graduated from T University and now I'm the director. If you're going to assist me, call someone with a better education that matches mine. Well, that's if there is anyone like that in this branch. Michael smirked and repeatedly insulted me in a blatant manner. Just then, his phone rang. The caller was someone unexpected. My name is Oliver. I'm a 26-year-old office worker. Ever since I was small and physically weak, I was often bullied during my elementary school days. Looking back as an adult, those incidents don't seem so terrible, but back then, I was too timid to speak up and often found myself succumbing to the more assertive kids. I couldn't communicate well. I remember my school days. I was always pestered by a boisterous classmate who was considered a leader. Hey! Oliver! What is it, Jack? You were good at math, right? Yeah, sort of. I forgot my homework and I'm in a real bind. Can I borrow your worksheet for a bit? But last time you didn't return it after borrowing. Really? Well, never mind that. I'll copy it and return it on time this time, promise. Come on, help me out. But... Arg. Stop being so annoying. I'm just asking to look at it. Intimidated by his anger, I eventually handed over the worksheet. Alright, make sure to return it by third period math. Yeah, sure thing. Thanks a bunch. As soon as he got the worksheet, he returned to his seat with a grin, spouting smooth talk. I would always watch his back with resentment. This happened repeatedly. Because I was small, I was told I couldn't eat much and often had my milk or bread taken during lunch, or I was forced to do their cleaning chores. I couldn't refuse any of it because of the pressure. Whenever this happened, I would go home nearly in tears and be comforted by my mom. While my mom was always supportive, my dad was strict. Whenever he came home late at night and heard from my mom about the bullying at school, he would come to my room to lecture me. Oliver. I heard you had a rough time at school again today. Yeah. Jack was terrible. Today he forced me to do his duty, even though I had cram school. I see. And what did you say to Jack? Huh? Did you clearly tell him, it's your turn to do it, so you should be doing it? I couldn't possibly say that. Jack is bigger and louder. Listening to my excuses, my father quietly shook his head. Oliver, I always tell you. It's very important to clearly express your thoughts to others. I know that might be true, but still. Staying silent is just like not having any opinions or will of your own. You do have thoughts and feelings, don't you, Oliver? It's all this enduring that makes things tough, my dad said. Yeah, I replied quietly. You need to communicate that to your friends properly. Do you think I can? Of course. Even Jack will understand if you explain it properly. It's important to convey what you dislike and what makes you happy. Wouldn't you be happier knowing what your friends think of you? Yes, that's true. Don't worry. You can do it. Repeatedly receiving this advice from my dad, I gradually became able to clearly express my feelings to those around me. Despite my initial reluctance. Eventually, Jack began to understand when I spoke up clearly, and by the time we graduated from elementary school, we had developed a good friendship. Not only with Jack, but I think my communication with all my classmates improved. Looking back, if I didn't speak up, people wouldn't know what I was thinking, and they would assume I would take on any request, branding me as the nice guy who couldn't say no. I realized I had just been retreating into my shell, playing the victim without expressing my own opinions. and I was able to squarely face and improve on my issues. All thanks to my father's teachings. Then, through middle and high school, I made many friends, and unlike my elementary school days, I became someone who could clearly express his own opinions, and I noticed a significant change in how my peers viewed me. I was entrusted with roles like class representative, student council member, and festival committee member. I could talk to anyone without hesitation, and my straightforward attitude earned me respect and trust from both teachers and classmates alike. While most of my classmates aimed for college, I chose to work right away. I knew what I wanted to do and wanted to gain experience as soon as possible. I joined a mid-sized trading company dealing with electronic components. They had major manufacturers as clients. From components for household appliances to parts for factory machinery, the company handled a wide range of products and was quite large. This company, led by President Anderson, who also had only a high school diploma, didn't judge people based on their educational background but valued each employee's motivation and attitude towards work, making it a great company to work for. Thus, I was assigned to a branch near the capital and started my job with great enthusiasm from day one. As a newbie, I willingly took on tedious tasks and miscellaneous duties from other departments, learning various jobs on my own and refining my processes once I mastered them. Looking back, the work was tough, but the joy of learning overshadowed the hardship. I would arrive at the office earlier than anyone else to clean, spend afternoons visiting clients, and stay late at night to handle office tasks and process invoices, nostalgic now. I also studied extensively at home to memorize a vast amount of information about parts. My first year was incredibly challenging but fulfilling. 8 years have passed since then, and my work at the branch was recognized, and I steadily built my career. The corporate relationships I had established as a newcomer expanded, turning several clients into crucial accounts for the company, and recently, I've been invited to more meetings and reporting sessions for all branches, leading to very busy days. This morning, I attended a strategic sales meeting at the headquarters with top performers from all branches. The meetings, where we discuss company challenges and strategies every 3 months, are immensely meaningful and enjoyable. And I always look forward to them. I bring back good practices and improvement suggestions from various branches to my branch to enhance our work. In the evening, after the meeting ended and I returned to the branch, I heard an unbelievable story from a colleague who had attended the meeting with me. "Man, today's meeting was pretty interesting, wasn't it?" "Yeah. Do you think we could host a golf tournament and secure several sponsorship deals like they talked about? Maybe we should pitch the idea to our manager, David. I need to practice my golf skills, though. But man, the attitude of the people from headquarters today really pissed me off." "Really?" I was surprised. I hadn't noticed any such attitudes from the headquarters staff. According to my colleague, they consistently look down on the branch office employees. Didn't you notice? Even today, while you and the others from the branches were presenting your results, they were leaning back and snickering. Now that you mention it. But why? Did I say something weird? No, it's not about what you said. They look down on all branch employees. What? Why? Well, you know how there are many high school graduates at the branches? It seems they don't really value our work, thinking it's lower level just because of where we come from. That's ridiculous. I heard this from a former supervisor who transferred to headquarters last year. In meetings, they just scoff, but if you're at headquarters, you can't help but hear all the derogatory comments about branch employees. Seriously? When they talk about us, they just dismiss them as incompetent and make fun of us. Sometimes, they even deliberately postpone answering inquiries from the branches, even when they could respond immediately. It's really causing problems for our work, my colleague explained. What? Even that time? Hearing this, I felt indignant. It wasn't the first or second time I found myself worrying, why is this taking so long, while coordinating work with headquarters? Apparently, there's a pervasive belief at headquarters that they are the elite and superior, leading them to look down on branch employees. This attitude is reinforced because many branch employees have only high school diplomas and there are more people working shorter hours, which leads them to mistakenly think they're just taking it easy. Hearing this, I decided I needed to clear up this misunderstanding with the headquarters staff. After the next meeting at headquarters, I secured some extra time to present the performance of all the branches. Initially, when I approached Bradley, the sales director at headquarters, he was reluctant, saying, "It's a waste of time." However, after repeatedly arguing that ignoring the disdain for branches was detrimental to the company, he agreed to give me the time. On the day of the meeting, the headquarters staff showed up with clearly unhappy faces. Despite the unpleasant atmosphere in the conference room, I handed out the documents with a smile and took the floor. "Thank you for giving us your time after the meeting today," I began. "We're busy. Make it quick." "Of course. Please look at the materials in front of you," I continued, guiding them through the documents I had prepared for the day. These documents succinctly showed how much the branches were earning and how their diligent customer follow-ups contributed to the company's profits. I also displayed a breakdown of branch staff by educational background and workload, including the roles of part-time employees, with graphs to show that even when calculating cost performance based on sales results, everyone was actively contributing and achieving solid results. I also presented research data proving that educational background and job performance are not correlated. As I concluded the presentation, the headquarters staff listened intently with a solemn demeanor. Feeling confident, I addressed the purpose of today's presentation. Lately, even employees like me at the branches are hearing about how headquarters staff belittle our work. You're aware of this, right, Bradley? Well. I also heard the slander that we, mostly high school graduates, only do easy jobs. Well, that's... As you can see, at the branches, whether high school or college graduates, everyone, including part-time office workers, is united in contributing to the company's profits. I hope this presentation helps all of you at headquarters rethink how you view the branches. I urge you, Bradley and everyone here, not to overlook but to improve the condescending attitude towards the branches. With that, I made my plea. Bradley and the rest of the headquarters staff, having seen the figures documenting the contributions of branch employees, apologized, admitting they were unaware of our achievements. "I'm sorry. I knew there was a culture of belittling the branches at headquarters, and I ignored it. In fact, I might have been guilty of underestimating the branch work myself based on misguided assumptions. It's truly shameful, Bradley. But this presentation has been an eye-opener. Far from deserving ridicule, the idea of harassing you in your work is utterly unacceptable. I'm glad you understand. From now on, I promise to change the mindset at headquarters so that there is no discrimination between headquarters and branches. And we will work together more cooperatively." Everyone here got that? Responding to Bradley's query, the headquarters staff nodded affirmatively. "Thank you." Thus, my presentation was a great success. I returned to the branch with a spring in my step and shared the outcome with my colleagues and supervisors, who were all delighted. I hope this makes interactions with headquarters smoother. Since Bradley promised, it will surely improve. Yeah. If it makes work easier, we'll have to cooperate with the folks at headquarters and strive for even greater achievements. Though it's strange we had to assert ourselves just to be recognized. Yeah. I've been bothered by that too. But it seems it will be improved, so let's accept it as a positive change. Several months later, an incident occurred. Under the pretext of understanding the inner workings of the branch, a person named Michael, the director from headquarters, came to visit. In his mid-50s with a robust build, his attitude was astonishingly arrogant. And the employees he spoke with were all universally stunned and bewildered. According to my supervisor, this Michael was the person who had fostered the culture of looking down on branch staff. And now, I was assigned to be his guide. As I began showing him around the departments, Michael, who had been sizing me up, asked about my educational background. "So you're guiding, huh? I need to assess whether you are suitable to be our guide," he said. "Assess?" "Yes. Which university did you graduate from?" I'm sorry. I only have a high school diploma." "What? A high school graduate is the guide?" "Yes, that's correct." "Is there a problem with that? For someone like you, a mere high school graduate, to handle this is utterly inappropriate." "Excuse me? I graduated from T University, and now I'm the director here." If someone is going to assist me, it should be someone with a better education that matches mine. Well, if there's anyone like that here at the branch. Michael smirked and blatantly ridiculed me. From then on, during the inspection period, I was subjected to various forms of harassment. He treated me like a lackey, demanding I buy him cigarettes or fetch the car, along with other unrelated chores. He also escalated his derogatory remarks about me at every opportunity. Of course, the people at the branch were angry at Michael's arrogant behavior, but since he was in a much higher position, they couldn't openly criticize him. Then one day, as soon as I arrived at work, I was called in and subjected to a tirade, but then Michael's phone rang. Yes, this is Michael. He answered the phone with a smile I had never seen before. It was apparently a call from President Anderson. President Anderson. What can I do for you? Yes. Of course, I am currently inspecting the branch. Oliver? Yes, he's right here. You want me to put him on speaker and hand him the phone? Yes, I understand. While talking to President Anderson, Michael smirked at me and, putting his phone on mute briefly, spoke to me. President Anderson wants to talk to you. What could he want with someone like you? Maybe he's going to fire a useless high school grad like you? Well, it would be better for the company if you were gone. Here, take the phone, and make sure you respond properly. Yes. Hey everyone, come here. Watch this guy get fired directly by President Anderson. Saying this, Michael took the phone off mute, turned on the speaker, and thrust it at me. As a few concerned colleagues gathered around, I took the phone from Michael. Hello, this is Oliver speaking. Oliver. I'm sorry to have put you in such an unpleasant position. At the initial exchange, Michael looked puzzled. It's unfortunate, but I couldn't entrust this role to anyone else. And it's for the company's good. That's right. Thanks to you, I've come to understand the reasons for the bad atmosphere at headquarters. I didn't want to believe it. But it's regrettable. Everything I've reported is as I've observed firsthand over the past week. One should have capable sons like you. At President Anderson's words, Michael, who had been smirking confidently, suddenly turned pale with shock. In fact, I was President Anderson's son. My desire was to succeed my father and further grow the company. That's why, instead of going to university, I chose to gain work experience by joining the company. Having worked from the ground up at the branch, I had recently started to frequent headquarters and reported the negative atmosphere there to my father without concealment. So, you're President Anderson's son? Yes. I have been at this branch as part of my training, but I cannot tolerate the disdain shown by headquarters staff toward the branch. And I have reported your behavior as one of the causes. What? As Michael turned pale, I smiled smugly. You've ridiculed me a lot, haven't you? Saying a high school graduate was incompetent. If I can't work, I should at least go buy your cigarettes. Right. You were joking about getting fired by President Anderson. Well, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't know. I would never have said such things if I had known. So you wouldn't have said it if you knew I was President Anderson's son? Of course not. Don't be absurd. Judging people only by their educational background or title, and you'd ridicule them if they weren't the president's son. No one deserves to be treated that way. Please, forgive me. Michael collapsed to the ground, trying to appeal to me pitifully, but I brushed off his hand. Then, still on speaker, President Anderson's calm voice could be heard. Michael. We have no need for someone like you in our company. President Anderson. Please. I'll say it again. You're fired. That's unbelievable. Thus, Michael staggered out of the branch with unsteady steps. I later heard that he headed straight to the headquarters. However, by the time he arrived, his seat at the headquarters had already been removed. While Michael was inspecting my branch, the headquarters was already conducting an inquiry into his behavior due to his negative stance on branch contributions and the friction he caused with various people. It was discovered that Michael had been taking credit for some of the achievements of the branch staff. His previous arrogant behavior and actions that constituted harassment towards subordinates and colleagues had come to light. And to make matters worse, the report I submitted reached President Anderson, which was the final straw. Thus, Michael, who had been poisoning the company's atmosphere, was ousted from the company. After Michael left the company, discussions were held among all employees on how to build a system to prevent similar incidents in the future. Among various opinions, there was almost unanimous agreement that it was essential to create an open work environment where everyone could speak freely. It was decided to establish an internal reporting system where HR would handle any instances of oppressive behavior that could stifle employees, reinforcing that it is crucial for every employee to be able to express their opinions freely. Slogans to this effect were also posted around the workplace. The company is made up of each and every employee. As a result, all employees' contributions began to be properly recognized, interactions between headquarters and branches increased, and we were able to undertake large projects that had been difficult for branches to handle alone. The company's performance is currently on an upward trajectory. I intend to continue expressing my opinions clearly, listening attentively to others, and fostering mutual understanding to maintain positive communication.